Hi guys, it's the Crayonist, and I'm going to quickly show you how to do a simple holiday bracelet or winter bracelet, because I will be using in here for some charms, metal charms it is. I'm going to be using, I'm just gonna set these down. I'm gonna use one of these. And then it's got a different pattern on each side. You're going to need beads. I have some pastel ones out, some other round ones, and some glass ones. I'm going to use so you can use whichever one you like. And then you also need wire or elastic, depending on which way you want to do it, and then different types of findings, which are what's in these cases right here. And then I kind of spilt my tools when I was putting them on the bed because I want it to be comfy, and then scissors, which are also tools, but these are just jewelry tools and tweezers. And then here is wire, fishing line, and elastic. So I'll set that off to the side and put it back down and open my case. I do also have other little charms for little snowflakes. I'm trying to get, they're so tiny that it's very, very hard to focus even with this camera. And I'm going to use some wire. So I'm just gonna cut extra. Normally I'd say cut the length that you need, and if you're using wire like I am, just using this very thin wire, and then taking wire cutters. I have two pairs. There's these that aren't as sharp, but because this is such thin wire, I don't need a sharp pair. And then cutting it. I don't have any bronze wire to match the charm, so I'm just going to take the charm and the wire and feed it through like this because of the charm I'm using, and then do that with the wire where it doubles up. And if you're making this for yourself, you should measure your wrist. I'm just going to leave the extra length and cut that excess bit of wire, and do the same with the other side. So that's extra, but I don't need all of this. I just want to have the extra for if I mess up. And then I'm going to do the same to the other one. And do this again, where it's doubled up. And then cut off the excess. And if you're using elastic and you have a charm like this, I'd advise to use the thinnest elastic you can and loop it like that. I'm going to be putting my beads on now. You can use any color you want. I'm going to use blue. I'm just going to pull a bunch out because if you look inside of my case, I have them by color for the most part, and they're kind of just mixed in. So let's do this. Sorry, my little tripod wants to like tilt a bit. But that's because of where my phone button is on the side. Oops, sorry guys. I will fix that in just 2 seconds. I just want to get some more beads out. Okay, I'm gonna just lean it against that while I show you what I'm doing. I'm taking some small beads first to go against the charm and doing this. Oops, I just tangled the wire. So it looks like that. And then I'm going to do the same to the other side. And just go from there. So far. And then I'm going to keep doing round beads. I actually really like these beads, but I want to incorporate some clear ones. And then I'm just gonna keep on going. You can literally speed through this if you'd like. I'm literally just gonna show you the one side at the moment, and probably speed through the video until I get to the next step. But so far it will look like this, and after this you could, I'm gonna speed through, and then when I get to the clasps, I will be able to tell you next. However, depending on if you're making this for yourself or for someone else, if you are making it for someone else, you should probably ask them how big their wrist is, so you know how many inches to make it, and then go from there and measure out. But if you're making it for yourself, you can just measure it on your wrist as you're making it to see how many beads you need. And then just keep going if you need more, or take off some if you need less. Now I'm measuring my wrist because this will be for my mom, and her wrist is about my size. So I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to add, because it's hard to show you while measuring my wrist like a kitten. But like I said, if it's not for you or for someone else, make sure you're using a ruler. And so far this is what mine looks like. And if you are using elastic, this is where you just tie it off. I'm going to be adding 2 more beads, and then I will show you how to crimp it. And this is where those findings come in. You will need little crimps and crimping pliers if you have them. I do not, so I will just be using regular pliers. And then you need clasp findings, which would be clasps themselves and jump rings. I will be using silver ones, even though the charm is bronze. I have all of mine like this, and this little tubey stand thing. I'm just gonna pour some jump rings out and then close it back up, and then I will be using a lobster clasp, which looks like this. And I'm just going to set that there as my closer, but you could also use ones that look like this if you'd like, or any other sort of clasp that you desire. There is many types of clasps. I'm going to change the angle just real quick so I can show you better, and move the camera over as well. I need little crimps. So these are what they are. These are all crimp beads. I have all different sizes and colors. I'm going to pull out some 2 silver ones, because if you are doing it with wire like I did, then you need some of these. But if you did it with elastic, you just had to tie it off into a knot that is tight enough where it was to be secure, but not too tight where the bracelet won't stretch. And then you can also do it from there. And I know this is getting long. I am almost done. I'm going to show you with the crimps now. So here's the crimp, and then here's the wire. I'm going to switch hands for the crimp real quick, because it's, or turn the camera, actually, that would probably be better, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. You're gonna put, just be careful not, if you're using wire like I am and you can turn it, bend it a bit so you don't lose your beads on the other side. It's gonna come, okay, sorry, I'm trying to get this in the camera and like in view, and go down like that, and then you're gonna loop the rest of the wire. Like I said, I'm trying to do this where it's in view, which is very hard to do, actually. And take your take a jump ring first, actually. That way you can attach your clasp to it. Like I said, I'm using a lobster clasp. Sorry, I'm gonna do this off camera so I can bring it closer to my face a little bit so I could see it a bit better. Actually, I'm going to cut my wire because it's a bit too long and it's being difficult. But once you've made the loop, make sure it goes into the crimp bead. And then pull it down into your last bead. Very carefully. And then I'm sorry, it's still off camera. I'm having difficulties for some reason. Okay. I actually took my jump ring off so I could quickly show you the loop. Okay, come on camera, focus, focus, focus. Oh, come on. There we go. There's the loop, and now if you have a crimping tool, crimp there. If not, with pliers you can flatten it, which will hold your crimp bead in place. And then if you can, very carefully, which try to bend it to make it round, which is what I'm going to do. But it doesn't seem I can do that at the moment. It's not important. It could be flat, but if you want it to be round, again, use your pliers. I'm going to put my... Okay, come on, camera. You can do it. Focus. I'm going to put my jump ring into my loop. And I dropped it. I am so sorry, guys. This is taking a lot longer than it should. Okay, there we go. Now it's in the loop, and I'm going to put the lobster clasp on it. I'm using jewelry pliers, if anyone was wondering. And then I'm going to close the lobster clasp. Preferably, always use 2 when making a bracelet, a necklace, an anklet, even earrings, and you're using jump rings. Okay, and now there's the clasp. Now you need a bigger jump ring with a smaller jump ring. Come on, you can focus, you can do it. And then a smaller one. And we're going to repeat the process with our crimp bead again. Oh, and I dropped it. Be careful because they are so tiny not to drop them. And I mean, they are so tiny. They're like almost microscopic. They're definitely like half a centimeter big. It's not funny how small they are. Like, at all. Okay. And then also make a loop again. But because my wire is too long, I am going to, again, cut it to a more reasonable shape. And then make my loop. And then while you're making your loop, add your jump rings. Like I am, I'm going to do it after. If I could not drop my little crimp bead like I keep doing. Oh, I lost it this time. Give me a second, guys. I need a new crimp bead. And then once that is attached, you can place your jump ring on if you didn't already, and then clasp it together, and you had a finished bracelet. Alright, I'm gonna try this one more time. Put that on. I know this is very long. I am so sorry. Make your loop, add your jump ring, and I am now repeating myself. Yep, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why this is giving me such difficulty. Alright, I'm doing this off camera now, so I could get my loop. And then I'm going to clamp it with the pliers to make it flat so the wire stays in place. And then put my jump rings on, and I will show you the finished product in just a second. It is much easier to put the jump rings on not in front of the camera, because they are very tiny, especially the tiny ones. Okay, I'm using a split jump ring as my closer jump ring, so it's thicker. And the lobster clasp has an easier thing to hold on to. Though you could just use a regular jump ring that's about the same thickness in width. And then this is the finished project. I know the blues are slightly different, but I wanted it to be that way. You can do it whatever color you want, and any design, any way, but if you're using a charm with 2 loops like this one, this is the easiest design you can do. Well, bye guys. Sorry this was so long. Hope you enjoyed.